Hello everyone, my name is Lorena Marciano. I am the Data Protection Officer for Cisco in EMEA. And as such, I am responsible of overseeing and implementing the famous or unfamous GDPR. And I'm also part of the broader group in Cisco, which takes care of security, privacy, and the broader spectrum of the principle of trust, really.
Hello, Lorena. My name is Jeff Bullwinkel, and I sit in Amsterdam. I oversee Microsoft's Corporate External and Legal Affairs Department for Europe. I too spend a lot of time thinking about GDPR, and while we're talking about that topic, Lorena, perhaps you might say a bit about how it's changed the way your organization has operated over the past years, close to the year anniversary.
Well, for us, I would say GDPR has been truly a helper, right? I think the main changes that GDPR brings to the scene, and probably is the same for your organization, is that it's shifting the idea of privacy into be a very, I would say, legal exercise to actually be something that needs to be implemented in the DNA of your company. And so it makes you think about adopting a risk-based approach and making sure that when you take a decision about the data that you use, you also think through how you're going to manage them, how you're going to keep them secure, and how you get rid of them when you don't need them anymore.
Over the past couple of years, a number of things have happened that I think have really caused people to question technology. And the more people have asked questions, the more trust has become an issue. Trust in technology has really become an issue. And as we talk about that with our own customers, and I talk about that with fellow lawyers working for different organizations, whether large and small, I ask them to focus on whether they can really trust what they are in fact using. For us, it's all about cloud services these days. And when it comes to cloud, we think about cloud as being based on really four core principles that define trust. One, of course, is around security. One is around privacy. Another is going to be around transparency, what's being done with data, and of course, ultimately compliance, making sure you can use cloud services in a way that's going to be ultimately compliant.
No, definitely. That's actually, it's interesting that you mentioned those principles that are very similar at Cisco. For us, it's really, especially on the privacy side, really about being transparent, accountable, and fair in the way you use data. And when it comes to showing your security posture, it really comes to translating that message in customer in actual facts. So I think we're moving from a moment where trust was something that you kind of, I trust you because I like you as a company, as show me I can trust you and give me evidence that I can. So I think that's the shift that happened in the industry now. That's what we're seeing as a company. So I'm going to take this even more globally from a data protection standpoint. If we look at the startups and if we look at the large enterprise, there is a perception that obviously the big companies, they're much more, I would say, equipped because they normally have more money to invest in security, to invest in privacy, to invest in operation. And that's something that I always, as a privacy officer, always made me think, because the reality, especially on the privacy and the data breaches, they're always been there. Those requirements are something, they're increasing now, I agree. But in terms of worries, they're always been there. And so actually recently with my company, we launched a study where we asked the startups, whether they felt they were ready from a privacy standpoint, whether they were ready in their security standpoint. And we combined that survey with the question that we got from large enterprise. And funny enough, we found that they're very level up. They're the same level. And I think it's quite interesting to see that there is a lot of movement in the market, but actually the issues that the startups have and the way they implement it is quite equal to the enterprises.
That's so interesting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because again, it's all about awareness these days. And these days, companies large and small have much higher awareness than ever before in terms of the risk of cyber breach and so on. And of course, these days as well, companies large and small have the ability to have best-in-breed technology, whatever their particular size and business. And this is partly, I think, due to cloud services. You have large companies producing cloud services at scale, investing enormous amounts of money in security in a way that no single enterprise even could ever do. And so, in fact, the smallest company today, an individual entrepreneur can have the same security level as the biggest enterprise.
Exactly.
Well, the first thing I would say is that we have the first responsibility in the tech sector, absolutely. I mean, after all, we built this stuff. That's clear. So the first responsibility lies with us. And a number of companies have done things individually and also more collectively for some time now. One of the things, in fact, that we've both been involved in, Lorena, of course, is the Tech Accord. And I think that's such an important innovation because it does reflect more collective action and working together. This actually just began about a year and a half ago, and Microsoft and Cisco Cisco were among the first signatories. There are now over 100 signatories to the Tech Accord, which is all about companies working together to do a number of things to combat cybercrime and promote cybersecurity. One is commitment to essentially protect customers anywhere in the world. A second is to oppose cyber threats from anywhere in the world. A third is to really empower users through more information, more tools to help them protect themselves. And finally, it's a commitment to really work together in ways that we haven't perhaps so much in the past. That's pretty exciting for us to think about.
It's really, and thank you so much for bringing us. We're a part of this Tech Accord as well, because what is key and what is really the game changer, I think, in security as well as in privacy, is that there used to be a very niche discussion, a discussion that will happen in every single company. Now we're seeing that actually this needs to become, an industry discussion. As you said, we are we are the core of the network. It's our responsibility to make sure that the data of people are secure. And therefore, we cannot achieve that in isolation because there are way too many players. You mentioned cloud. There are many players in that ecosystem. So we need to make sure to work correctly together to find solutions to keep people aware, safe, and also get the governments with us.
Governments need to play a role as well. That's clear.
Exactly.
For sure. Well, I think that's probably all we have time for today. It's been our conversation on cybersecurity and cybercrime. I'm Jeff from Microsoft in Europe.
Well, I'm Lorena, and this was our discussion on cybercrime and privacy. I hope you liked it, and thank you so much for being with us.